OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
All right, here we go. OverDrive off and running. TSN 1050 on the TSN app, your home smart speaker, and up on TSN 4. Bryan Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles McLennan. How we doing on a Thursday afternoon?
I've been thinking about you guys today. You got to do me one favor, okay?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What do you got?
Remember when I started working out a couple weeks ago, and I said when you guys
Notice
see something,
we got to play a siren, or you can't call for your own siren.
Hang on a sec. You just can't go the whole year or something and not play it.
We will play it.
I know.
You need
And I know I got to give you some material. I got to show up, and you got to look and say, or maybe you got to see me in person. I don't know. But I just don't screw me over and, wait a year, and I don't hear anything.
No horn, no nothing.
No, I'm waiting for something that truly, spontaneously pops up where I look at you and say, I'm noticing a transformation here.
Yeah.
And at that point, the siren will be played, okay? And
you're not going to have an inside joke with Noodles where it's we're never playing the
No, it's been a week, man. You know this.
Dude, I get it, but I was thinking about it today. I'm like, I know those two. They will let this drag out, and they just, even if I do look amazing in 4 months, they won't play it. You got to play
that's
it.
Not
we will
true.
play it.
You think
we will play it.
You think we would purposely not do it? Especially if you.
Yes, I actually do think that you would do that, because I could see the text or phone call saying, "Don't ever play the alarm and tell JP never, because we're gonna sewer this guy."
No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
I'm supportive. Do you want to hear it just as a refresher?
What is our horn?
Yeah, no
way. No.
I want to hear it.
Now
so
you've
that
got
we
my
know
attention.
in our mind.
You got my attention. Let's hear it, JP. I want to hear it.
In case we know.
I'm talking about all the way to the top, yeah. Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in, but the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
Yes.
There you
think
go.
we
All right.
wouldn't play that?
All right.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's great production. We will play that whenever we see it's fit. But you want to give us a quick update? Are you down a 2-pack, a 5-pack, 10 nuggies?
I'm not going to give any of those updates until it's very substantial.
Okay.
But I will say that there was a small crowd gathering around the treadmill for some of my sprints watching today.
Okay.
I put on a bit of a show.
Wow.
Because there's this dude beside me. Have you ever seen this type of person? They run for 40 minutes at level 10, and it's an all-out sprint, and you're like, you feel like a piece of garbage running beside that person.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't run beside somebody
It's
who's
just an
absolutely
all-outer,
putting it
and I wanted to say to him, man, I'm coming after you. In 4 months, I'm going to be running right with you, and I'm going to be your running partner. But I'm not there yet. But I was doing some sprints.
Sprints are awful. Running is terrible. That's what keeps me away from the gym, outside of pure laziness, is the fact that I don't want to go there and realize there's other people that are in such better shape.
Dude, it's
become
mandatory for me, though. I don't have any excuses. You got to hit rock bottom sometimes, and I hit rock bottom. And it's just like hockey teams. It's like they just hit rock bottom, and they're like, they got to play a different way to win, whether it be Washington or I was at rock bottom the way I was approaching fitness, nutrition, and it was like everything's non-negotiable now. Non-negotiable. I got to work out, and I can't be a fat ass anymore.
Okay, it's all good.
I've had enough.
Don't worry. That siren will be played. We're going to let it sit for a while. And, you mentioned rock bottom. There's, wouldn't say the Raptors hit it last night, but Gary Trent didn't play. They're going to start their in-season tournament tomorrow against Boston. And Gary Trent's actually coming up in about 15, 20 minutes. We'll get his take on his status, whether he and the boys are excited for the in-season tournament. I'm sure Gary's jacked up for that. And, slow starts have been terrible for the Raptors. And Dame went off last night. So you got that. In the NHL, you had Edmonton, which had hit rock bottom. They stormed back and found a way to win last night. Evander Kane with a hat trick. Hyman had a hat trick against Seattle on Saturday night. They've won 3 in a row. I didn't think they played great.
I didn't think they played great either.
But they won.
Well, they got it done. Even watching some of the puck luck and stuff, when it wasn't going well for them, it was so bad. Like you'd get a bad bounce, a puck would land here. They were getting some puck luck, and you're starting to see now. That's where Mike Kelly, our analytics guru, he put out. He said Edmonton is due. The regression is going to be back to the mean. He pointed out. He said their stats are too good for them. They're going to start to win. Well, they are getting some puck luck, and
some
guys
wins.
stepped up. Like McDavid scored, Draisaitl got 2 assists, Kane got 3 goals last night, and guess what? They're getting saves. Stuart Skinner made 32 saves again.
And it's not like a coach bump where it's like Chuck Knobloch shows up and it's like everyone's going to the wall for him. I guarantee you the last 3 wins would have happened with Woody behind the bench. He must have been saying, if I just had stayed on for that one more, then I might have got my way out of this. I don't know. That's just, you know what I mean? It's not like the coach bump where everyone's like, oh my God, now the Oilers are for real. It's been kind of same old, but they've had some goal production, some puck luck, a save here and there, and they've got the wins.
Yeah, exactly. Like their game against the Islanders the other night was not impressive. They took off in the third, but at this point, when you've hit rock bottom, all you need is points. Like the best way to feel good about yourself is points. And Edmonton has done that. Vancouver stormed back last night, did the same thing.
It's Quinn Hughes, man.
Matt, he is the most entertaining player in the league to watch. There is no one that offers up, I think, more bang for their buck. I know McDavid's there, McDavid's coming, and McDavid has held that mantle for a long time. But Hughes plays like 24, 25 minutes a night. He's everywhere. This guy walks the line without a pulse, where 99% of the league would soil themselves, dump it in the corner, and change if they were asked to do even a percentage of what this cat does with the puck. He is so fun. He's so entertaining. He's leading the league in points alongside Pettersson and J.T. Miller. The three of them are leading the league in points.
He might be. He's like a Scott Niedermayer that just skates forever. Yeah. And he might be. This is an insane comment to even say. He might be more like offensively gifted than Scott Niedermayer was. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With the playmaking ability and the flash and dash, he might be just a little bit more skilled offensively.
Yeah, it's impressive.
He's damn good, man.
He's so good. He's so good. And, Demko's good. Everything's breaking their way. Yeah. Everything's breaking their way. But at a minimum, if you're in Vancouver, what you realize is you bank points. You don't have to explain any of that.
Right. No way.
And what you've done is transition the conversation out of this is a tire fire, what's going on around here, this is a mess, to wow, superstars playing like superstars, which I don't think will fall off, right? We've talked about the shooting percentage, the save percentage, PDO. We love PDO.
Oh, yeah, PDO.
And it's, everything's through the roof in Vancouver. A lot of that will probably regress. Eventually they'll run into some injuries. They'll lose a few in a row, and I want to see how they respond to that. But Quinn Hughes is not going to stop. Like, he's a superstar. This is not like it's some guy who, he's a pretty good player, is off to a good, like Brock Besser. He's not scoring 60. No. He's got 13. It's been great. He's not scoring 60.
That is going to be the biggest key to their season, Hayes, is how do they respond to 3 or 4 losses in a row? Mm-hmm. Because at every point, that is going to be coming for every team. And is that going to be an 18-wheeler for them, or have they learned enough about themselves and how to play and how to dig themselves out of a ditch where it's just a blip on the screen? Right. And their work ethic and the habits that they have in place can pull them out of it. That is going to be a major test for that team.
Well, you're right. You're right. But it's Demko, it's Hughes, and it's Pettersson, and all 3 of them are having rock star
Don't forget about
seasons.
that J.T. Miller. He's an important player for them. He's good, man.
You see that pass, a little feather pass into the middle on the power play
He's intense, man. He's intense.
Yeah, everyone was like last year when he freaked out when the goalie wouldn't change and he was losing his mind at the goalie to get out of the net. At least he's got some fire.
He does.
You remember that where he was looking back and
hilarious.
But he's
because it was like a third stringer, like an e-bug or something, wasn't it? He hated that guy.
Well, he's a guy that's polarizing because there are some shifts they circle and go, look at the back check here, look at the body language on here, that type of stuff. But he comes to play. He's got an attitude. Mm-hmm. And that's the word that comes to mind when I think of J.T. Miller.
Trail of annoyance.
Yeah, but he's got this. Yeah, he's just got this attitude. He's a loose cannon. And I love it because not a lot of guys play with piss and vinegar. They just don't. They don't bring it to the table. Like a lot of them are just very, very robots. They play hard. They're good, but like he wears it. He wears his game. So,
guys, we've all been in a lot of locker rooms. Wouldn't you rather have a guy that's a little bit sideways, that competes and plays his ass off, and you know what you're going to get most nights, as opposed to some soft-spoken, kind of not intense,
meek.
never, like meek little weasel out there, like
weasel.
Like you kind of need it on a team. You need some different personalities. It's not about liking everybody and just being Mr. Nice Guy. Sometimes you just need a little spice in there. And J.T. Miller's that guy.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, and it's amazing. They're sitting atop the Pacific and atop the Western Conference. And if it weren't for Boston, the Vancouver Canucks would be the top seed in the NHL. They're 12-3-1. I think they got the second-rated power play. Their kill's I don't think their kill's actually been that great, but like you said, it's Pettersson, it's Hughes, and it's Demko. And what they've done there is they got a true, legit number one center, number one defenseman, number one goaltender. And
and every preseason show, I've said the same thing the last couple years. The most important thing is that their big boys, who are getting paid like big boys now, need to play like that. Mm-hmm. And when they do that every night, they have a chance to win.
Well, did you see the one-timer by Philip Hronek last night?
Yeah.
Where I mean, it's real because the data said it, but that it registered at 107.2 miles per hour or something like that.
It was a bomb. I didn't think 107.
I didn't think that was Al McInnes or something. Like, it was a bomb. Like, the camera could not even keep up with it. And, like, it was a bomb. But now they're dealing with all this new data. I think it must be in the puck or whatever. Yeah. And the NHL is releasing the data. And I'm curious how far it's going to go in the NHL, because we've seen it in baseball where every hit is exit velocity now.
Right.
Every single hit is exit velocity.
Even outs. That's like, exactly. Like players care about it. Oh, it was a hard hit ball, the exit velocity, but it was the third out, game over.
It happened with Vladdy all year. It was like, I know he hit into a double play, but the exit velocity, it's like, oh, great. It was a double play, and they lost the game. Thanks.
Well, you started seeing in hockey, Hayes, where the possession numbers started being calculated, and no need to name names, but there was a bunch of guys who you watch teams, there would be like flick shots on the goal to have shots on goal, and it's like, what are you doing?
Right. Yeah. And then they'd claim that they had no idea.
Driving up their Corsi.
Yeah.
They got
no idea that
driving up the old Corsi back in
Maybe
the day.
Those guys were meek weasels.
Yes. Well, you know what the worst part of that?
A meek weasel.
A meek weasel. I was about to transition to another team and had a player in mind, and when you said meek weasel, I'm like, I can't.
Speaking
now
of
I gotta stop.
meek weasels, who are you talking? We can't. You can't.
I'm not going to say it.
Let's just come up with a top 10 meek weasel list in pro sports. Come on.
No.
I'm sure there's a lot of examples. But yeah, I was right there. I had a transition to the complete counter of J.T. Miller, and it happens to be. I'll give it. This is as far as I'll go. It's against the team they're playing tonight. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, the Raptors. They got themselves a spanking last night, and
they couldn't come back in that one. They were down, and
once you're down 20 again, it's like it's over. And you know what's amazing? And Gary Trent again is supposed to play tomorrow. Gary's going to join us in like 10 minutes. We'll break and come back with Gary. But I was looking at the stats because everyone's buzzing about Anunoby being out, and we always talk about contracts here, right? Like William Nylander. I was just doing Sports Center on Willie. We had to talk about his contract, and it's lights out, right? Like Willie is lights out through 15 games. He's been incredible, and it's going to be an overarching topic throughout the year.
Sure.
What happens with Willie? My stance is, the Leafs have got to hold strong here. You cannot flip your negotiation because of 15 games.
That's
but
fair.
It's a constant conversation, and it's the same thing in the Raptors world with OG Anunoby, the fact that he's up at the end of the year. And I saw these stats were sent to me earlier today that the Raptors are plus 46, plus minus, plus 46 in OG Anunoby's 251 minutes on the court this year, and minus 72 in the 287 minutes he didn't play.
Wow. That's like pretty significant.
It's like 118-point difference when he's on the floor compared to when he's not, and they've played 11 games.
Dude, if I was his agent, I would be like, you want to go for a coffee? I want to show you something.
Right.
Like that's a meaningful thing to me. That's not something nonsense. That's just when this guy's on the floor, something happens. And on a positive note, and when he's not, it doesn't. So what do you want to do? You want to let him walk? Okay.
Exactly. Like pretty much when he's playing, we're going to win ball games. We're going to have the lead in ball games. when he's not, we're in big trouble. And, you look at what happened last night. You look at the stats Dame put up, the stats other stars have put up when Anunoby's not on the court. It's right in your face. Like, it's really, really evident how important he is. And, last night did not go well. And Jakob Poeltl, you talk about a whipping boy. He's starting to take a lot of heat. Didn't even play in the fourth last night. Give up a first-round pick. His top 6 protected.
Old Darko is not.
He's trying, man. Like he's.
I know, but he doesn't look happy. He looks miserable.
Well, when you start that poorly, it's a mess, right? Yeah. Every game they're getting dummied in the first quarter, and they've managed to battle back against teams like Washington and San Antonio. You play a team like Milwaukee, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, no.
You know who he sounds like? He sounds like that Swiss coach with all the sound bites from the World Juniors.
Oh, the guy, no
and
chance
maybe he'll
to win.
start. Yeah, we have 0 chance to win against those guys. Like maybe he's just going to turn into that coach from the World Juniors.
Man.
Learn that we are far away from them.
We got to play that guy's whole clip today. Didn't he go back to back? Didn't he bring it back the next year and go, hey, great to see you guys again. We're still going to get crushed by Canada.
Yeah, I saw him twice in Buffalo and in Vancouver. I talked to him one night.
Good guy.
Remember him?
Is that your boy?
Cool guy.
Didn't he say
cool
all
guy.
of Team Canada's were like first rounders,
Yeah.
and the only one is Victor Mete, who was a fourth rounder, and he plays in the NHL. Like, didn't he have like some sort of long diatribe?
Oh yeah, he's like they're chock full of first rounders. They're so much better. They skate better. They shoot better. They hit better. They look
We
better.
have 0 chance.
We have 0 chance. And then it was like Masters was like frozen, like anyone else would be. And you're like, what? I don't even know what his follow. How do you follow that up?
Follow that up.
Okay, and good luck tonight.
Yeah.
Back to you, Gord. Or
that
back
was
to
awesome.
you, James. Like I don't even know how you respond to such blunt criticism of your own team before the puck is dropped. And I guess his explanation was, what was his explanation? I'm going to try to piss off my own guys. Like I'm really going to try to drive home
motivate his group or not, or if he was
That's
just
what he
saying.
was trying to do. He told me personally, he was like, what else am I supposed to say? We're staring in the face a 6-0 loss, and I was trying to motivate my guys.
Right.
That's all I had. That's all I had.
Wow.
Right or wrong, it's all he had.
It didn't work in the end. But, hey, it was worth a shot, right? And then double down the next year. The Swedish, the Global Series is starting. Ottawa was up 4-0. It's now 4-4 to start the third period.
Ottawa was on fire to start the game, and Detroit was asleep. Now Ottawa's asleep, so now you're going into the third period to see what happens.
Pretty
Coin
good
flip
bang
now.
for your buck over there, I would say. I wonder if, like, the Leafs and Minnie
Maybe
are there at the
somebody's
game.
doing one of these, whatever that.
I love that you're wearing the Greg Norman hoodie today. Is there any reason for that?
You know what? You're going through the closet. I'm coming in the studio, and I have to admit I had a late night, on a Wednesday night. Last night,
Who
I've
was
got
in town that you would?
I got a couple buddies from Lethbridge in town, and a couple guys I played in Japan with. So just like I was at the Wheat Sheaf.
Sake Bahams last
The
night?
Wheat Sheaf. You know what it's bad when a buddy, like a guy comes up, we're chatting, and he goes, "Can you give me a shout out on the show?" I wrote it into my phone, 2:22 a.m. Trey.
Shout out to Trey.
Shout out to this guy. Was an NFL player.
Was he?
Yeah. The problem is I'm getting in a cab. I can see my cab. He's like, "Here, do this tequila shot." Why do you do a tequila shot as you jump in a cab on the way home?
It's asking for a blackout. It's asking for the driver to wake up in Buffalo.
Yes, thank you, Trey, but it's and I was up at 6:30 or 7 with the kids. So
Well, you made it in. You look great.
Yeah, and I've got the sweater on.
All right,
so I felt like that.
Okay. You feel like Greg Norman. I don't know. Was that on 18? I can't remember.
What was that? I don't remember.
We'll get to the details of that. All right. Gary Trent's coming up. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on the TSN app.
Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Overdrive continues, brought to you by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Luke Wilson will be in studio at 5 o'clock. I have the game tonight, of course. It's a tough game. Bengals, Ravens. A great game, though. Great game. AFC North battle.
Be a good one.
Two teams coming off a loss last week. Both losses at home.
My initial thoughts, you can do whatever you want. I believe the Ravens blow them out. And I mean blow them out.
Really? That sounds like reverse psychology because you're a Bengal guy and you're a Joe Burrow guy.
Dude,
I think you're trying to push me in that direction.
No. Short week for Cincy, bad performance. I don't know if they get it back on the rails right away.
Well, they're dealing with injuries, I will say that. And like Baltimore at home has been spanking teams, and they had Cleveland. They had them. They had a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter, and they gave it away. Cleveland, like Baltimore's been really good, really good. Lamar's been really good. Lamar's been better this year than Joe Burrow. Like I would take Burrow to start a franchise over Lamar Jackson, but in terms of what
Lamar's getting recognition too, like people are finally saying, you know what, this guy's unbelievable right now.
He's outstanding. It's him. C.J. Stroud, Patrick Mahomes, maybe Tua. Like that's what we're talking about for the MVP right now.
C.J. Stroud, though, like where was that name?
No one was talking C.J. Stroud. Like maybe rookie of the year. But
He'd win the MVP. Maybe
he probably should.
But are we talking 5 weeks ago? That name's not even like how many weeks ago would that name not even been on the surface?
Yeah, I mean, it's.
4 weeks?
Yeah,
5
probably.
Weeks?
You know, like early on, they got a couple wins, and you're like, oh, good for them. That's cool. New
not going to
coach, young
sustain
guy,
it. Yeah,
but won't be sustained. Now, it's only mid-November. They still have a bunch of ball games left to play.
Right.
I'm still skeptical to suggest that Houston's like a lock to win that division. I think Jacksonville will still win it.
Right.
But, man, they've been incredibly impressive. Incredibly impressive.
Big time.
And, you know, I expect that they're going to continue to win ball games, and I think they'll make the playoffs. But as for the game tonight, this, like we were saying yesterday to Ian Eagle, this is an Al Michaels special.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
This is where you don't need a guest in the booth.
No.
Right? Although, will Carissa Thompson be working this game? I guess she will be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She'll have eyeballs on her, man.
Ooh,
wow.
Man, has she put herself in a tough spot. So if you're not familiar with this, maybe we can get the audio for later, Chris. Carissa Thompson, she's been in sports media for years.
Yep.
And she's the host of Thursday Night Football on Amazon. And she's worked for Fox forever. And she's great at what she does. But she's been a sideline reporter, or she was earlier in her career. And she went on a Barstool podcast, Pardon My Take, and said that she's made up sideline reports in the past.
Because she couldn't get the coach or didn't want to wait around or I don't know. And she said she would just bluff it and make up a sideline report.
Right. And always positive. Like her explanation was the coach is never going to get mad if I go out there and say, yeah, they realized that, they got to keep playing tough in the second half or whatever.
Right.
A fluff kind of positive report. But still, man, if she put a target on her back because you're admitting that you were just, it was literally fake news.
Well, it's a lack of professionalism from it. Like, I wonder if could we get like when our Ask Masters, he'd be like, ever made in game and be like, yeah, that's what I'm hearing from the bench. It's just something made up.
Yeah,
it's crazy enough that she would pull that off. But
yeah,
I guess in crucial times you got to come up with something. It's not like you can say, let's go to Clarissa and you have nothing. But it's crazier that she admitted it.
Yeah, well, that's the amazing thing. I guess she had admitted it in the past before, but she was on. It's a massive podcast with a massive following,
and she even said,
up.
"She's like, I haven't been fired in the past for admitting this, so what the hell? I'll do it again."
Yes,
but
and now,
it blew up this time, and I don't know.
Well, what's the repercussions of that?
Yeah, people have said that you have to listen to her whole interview because you might not. There's context there where maybe she just didn't explain everything, but at the end of the day, she admitted that she did that.
Right, like it could have been tongue in cheek in some ways, or there's more depth to it, or again, it was more that a couple of times when she kind of had spoken to the coach beforehand and knew what the let's face it, a lot of the sideline reporting at the half is predictable.
Right.
Your team's getting blown out. Coach realized we got to, can't have turnovers anymore.
Work harder.
Yes, we know.
Yeah,
you got to work harder. Got to get pucks in deep. Got to, whatever. Get up more shots. All that kind of stuff is somewhat predictable. But what I think she's done is she's put a spotlight on all the other sideline reporters who are now
kidding.
What are you doing to me here? Now everyone's going to ask me, have you made up anything on the sideline?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. And the players might be concerned about that. All right, so whenever we're watching Raptor games, you see it all the time on TSN, right? Gillette and the Choose Your Game Face campaign. This year it's going to be Grady Dick and Gary Trent, and I think we know, Grady. I'm not sure he can grow a beard. I think he could.
Maybe I don't know.
I think he could.
He's just a kid.
Yeah, he's a young guy. Gary, though, I mean, he's got style. He's got facial hair.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he joins us here on OverDrive. Here is Gary Trent Jr. of the Raptors. How you doing, Gary?
I'm doing great. How y'all doing today?
We're doing well. Do you think Grady could grow out a beard if he wanted to?
I was thinking a few years. He got some more growing to do, and then I think it'll come in strong. I'm not sure yet, though. Right now, we see what it is.
Yeah, exactly. You got him in this. This was pretty easy to, I think, cast you guys. In terms of getting involved in this. And what do you make of that? Like, doing photo shoots and shooting commercials. Like how much of your day does it take up, and what kind of approach do you have to get through it?
Well, obviously, you got to have a serious approach. Obviously, you're dealing with a great partner and a great business, so you don't want to come around there playing around at all. And again, also being in photo shoots and commercials and this, that, and the third. I'm sure I did. I'm sure Grady did as well as a kid, but that's stuff you dream of. That's stuff you work hard for. That's stuff you continue to keep pushing and continue, try to get to push certain messages that you believe in, whether it's fun, whether it's serious, so to that degree, it was cool. But then on the back end of it, it was even great as well, too. I was there for about 4 to 5 hours. Grady was there as well, too. And it was, the filming process was kind of before the season really got kicked off and really got started. So it was also cool to obviously be in a certain light and see how he handles that and how he works as a rookie, how, how serious he is and his approach and, rub elbows with him, get a feel for who he is, have certain conversations, just talk, joke. So it was kind of cool to get a feel for him before that as well, too, just in that experience we had. So it was a great thing, I enjoyed it.
How long does Grady have to go on to earn his stripes with the big boys? Like, does he go out with the veteran guys, or does he have to wait a little while for that? How does that work in the NBA, Gary?
No, it's a brotherhood in the NBA, from day one. I've done everything I can to try to, help him or show him how to be a pro, whether it's during workouts from, the summertime or how you approach it, a certain mindset you could have. But I wouldn't say he, can hang with a certain guys or he can't. We're all a brotherhood and we're all a family. We're all trying to, help the next man up, So obviously he's a rookie now. I've been in the league, for about six years now. So, it's just great to, share my experiences or just to talk to him about anything and not just myself, everybody as well.
You missed the last few games with a right foot injury. Can you give us an update on your status before the game tomorrow night?
Oh, man, our staff been doing a great job of trying to get me ready. Obviously we got to continue to keep testing and figure it out, but hopefully I'll be back soon. It's not nothing crazy, so it should be good. I'll be fine.
Okay, and tomorrow night you guys are making your debut. You're the last team in the league to partake in this in-season tournament. And we've talked a lot about it. We're trying to wrap our head around this.
Yeah.
Like, where are you at with the excitement level, and can you put us in the locker room? Like, are the boys jacked for something new here, or are the guys trying to figure out what's going on?
Do the boys even understand it, or
yeah,
what?
like, where do we stand here?
We all super ecstatic. Obviously we got the chance to win something. Obviously this was a certain amount of games we got to play throughout the season anyway, so we might as well try to win as much as we can, too. Obviously, there's a cash incentive and a prize for winning and going all the way, and also, it's something new. It's fun. It's exciting. You got the new courts out there. You got the new jerseys, that they put into it, and I love it. I've been all a part about it so far. When they even was talking about it, it sounded like a great thing, and you even seen the competitiveness between the teams. They've been super serious games. They've been fights. There's been tussles. There's been good games. There's been great basketball. So it's just something nice, new, and exciting. And, I'm excited that we obviously get to put on our first time doing it and playing in it. And, in Toronto, it's going to be great.
With Raptors guard Gary Trent Jr. and the winning team, each player gets $500,000, and you'll be in Vegas. So what do you make of that? Like, if you can look to the future, Gary, you get handed $500,000 and you're in Vegas. What happens the next 24 hours?
Man, you just continue to try to win and try to get it, and get all the money and all everything that you can get. That's what you're going there to Vegas to do. So, but it's it's an exciting thing, and I'm ecstatic. And you also don't forget you get a little cup too. You get a trophy. So don't forget that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, the trophy. It's exciting. But what if it was $500,000 and just chips, poker chips, and they say, "Good luck, go to the casino"? Would some of the boys be in for that?
We have to play the games anyway, so we might as well try to go win. You see what I'm saying? So.
Right. I got you. I hear you. But I'll take the 500. I got no problem with that. You want to ship it this way? We'll take it. Yeah, exactly.
Me too.
Gary, you mentioned trying to show Grady Dick the way, and being a mentor for him, a guy that you've been in the league for 6 years. Was there somebody that when you first got into the league that you looked up to, or maybe helped show you the way?
Yeah, most definitely. The situation it's crazy too because everybody's perception on the NBA can be different depending on how they were introduced to it. Whether you're a first number one pick, your perception is going to be different than somebody who was in the second round or the first round, or you know what I'm saying. So it's crazy how everybody's different perception they have, but it's a great thing. With mine, it was amazing because I went into a situation where a team was already together for 8 years. My vets were Damian Lillard, C.J. McCollum, Evan Turner, Chief Aminu. You know, so it was a lot of super veterans, a lot of great players, a lot of great vets that have certain mindsets and approaches to the game and how they carry themselves on the court and off the court. And I just watched, I've learned, I observed. Obviously, they told me different things, helped me with different things, even down to getting me my first suits ever in the NBA. Evan Turner got me a couple suits. Same to C.J. McCollum, you know, just little things down to that. You know, like I said, it's a brotherhood, and you always want to help the next man up no matter who it is, whether it's a G League rookie, a second-round rookie, a first-round rookie, it really doesn't matter. But when I first came into the league, I would say when I went to Portland, those were the guys that really, you know, took me under the wing and showed me, you know, the way, in a sense.
Well, and obviously your dad was a pro player as well, right? Like that
100%.
You know, that must have helped you a lot growing up. You see it a lot with, you know, yourself. You got guys like Steph Curry, the Curry brothers, et cetera. There's a bunch of them. Like, did you feel like you were kind of prepared for the NBA because you kind of grew up around the NBA?
Most definitely. My whole life was prepared to be in the NBA. I've always been around the NBA since I was a kid. Growing up, whether it was elementary school, middle school, high school, I could call on NBA players that are almost like uncles to me in a sense about anything basketball related or anything that's going on in my life. But again, it was almost like having a cheat sheet. Like you said, my father was a professional as well. So I was 5 years old. He simply sat me down. We had different conversations, and he asked me, do I want to be ordinary or extraordinary in basketball? And after I told him I wanted to be extraordinary, he broke down everything that I would need to do and everything that I would have to do, and then we planned it out and executed it step by step, and now we're here now. We're going to continue to keep growing and continue to, you know, trying to get better each year.
Well, it's worked out. I mean, there's no question about that. It's a pretty well-executed plan, I would say, with Gary Trent Jr. And obviously, you know, you're up here in Toronto. You've been here now a few years. You got a new coach. And I'm curious if you can kind of detail how Darko is approaching the early season to that of, you know, what Nick Nurse had done in the past. Not about knocking Nick or anything, but, like, is it a different vibe around Darko and his approach? What have you made of it early on into the season?
I would just say Darko, you know, he's been super exciting. He's been super, you know, refreshing in a sense. He's always there for you. He's super, you know, tries to communicate with everybody and checks on how you're doing and sees what's going on. You know, even get into some drills and rebound for you and, you know, all types of stuff. So, you know, he was a great coach and always doing it and everything. It's been smooth and great and continue to, you know, buy into whatever role each player needs to buy into, you know, to try to help us win. You know, obviously the same thing with Nick Nurse here. Again, my time with Nick Nurse, I have nothing negative to say about Nick Nurse. He gave me, you know, an opportunity, you know, to showcase what I can do or how I can help, you know, contribute to winning, you know, more than any coach, you know, that I've had in the NBA so far. So, you know, I have no knock to it, and I hope you know, good luck to him in Philly. But, you know, what we're doing now is we're going to continue to keep building, continue to keep going, and continue to try to rack up as many wins as we can. And there's going to be bad nights. There's going to be good nights, you know, but as long as we stay together, we continue to fight, you know, continue to watch, learn, and grow. You know, the sky's the limit. We can only go up, you know. So that's our main goal. That's our main focus, you know, to win.
Well, Darko's on Team Smooth right now. You got to get him growing that beard, Gary, I think, right?
I don't know how it can grow. I don't know how the beard can grow, but it's about to get cold, so we'll see what the winter looks like.
That's right. The Choose Your Game Face campaign is back in celebration of its continued role as the official shave and beard care partner of the Toronto Raptors. He is Gary Trent Jr. Good luck getting back in the lineup, Gary. Hopefully it happens tomorrow night with Boston in town, and good luck with this campaign. Really appreciate you doing this.
No, I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Y'all enjoy y'all day.
You got it. There he is, Gary Trent Jr. I like that, you know, like great detail about him and his dad. Like when you're young, it's like, this is the way it's going to go. Like if you want to do it, I'm telling you, because I've done it, this is how you're going to have to do it. And
I thought 5 years old might have been a stretch, a bit young to
I like
say
that,
this is
though.
what you got to do.
Kind of
It's a
love that,
checklist.
though.
Like, hey, you want to do it? This is what you got to do. You know?
Well,
And Gary Trent's made it.
He's 24 years old.
Yes,
Like we forget,
young
like
guy.
he's in his, fifth, sixth year.
Yeah.
And he's 24. Like, he's hit the ground running. I would say still learning, but still, developing and going to hit his prime.
Absolutely.
But he knows how to play. And you're right. We see it all the time. If you're the son of somebody who played, a lot of those details, a lot of the things behind the scene, they're ingrained in you because you grew up around it.
Mm-hmm.
And, so scouts, coaches, they don't have to worry about the small details teaching you, on and off the court, all of that, because you've already lived that life. So it is a competitive advantage for you.
Absolutely.
Maybe 5 isn't young. Like, maybe it's not too young to at least plant a seed. Like, I know my brother, he tells his son all the time, when he was younger, like started in hockey, you want to get better, go shoot pucks in the backyard. That's how your uncle did it. That's how I did, and we were in we made it to the OHL. But we weren't like crazy about it, but we did it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to be a little bit different, go work on your shot. Try to get your shot better than anyone else. Whether he went back there or not, I'm not sure. But he told him that's what you got to do.
Absolutely. That's it. It's probably that. It's to that extent. I can't imagine it was, running laps around the school or anything at 5.
Exactly.
But it's just, this is what it's going to be. It's going to be a grind. There's going to be ups and downs. And, I think even just the weathering of a storm is probably the biggest advantage of understanding, like, seeing your dad, like, okay, he was losing, but he came home and he was still putting a smile on or whatever, or realized, okay, I'm going to get up early and go to the gym early the next day. Like little stuff that you wouldn't know if you weren't around it. But, there's going to be ups and downs. And, as of now, the Raptors are 5-6, but the in-season tournament's starting tomorrow night against Boston. All right, Luke Wilson will be in studio at 5. I've been working on this. I can't say I've been working on it. It's not like I'm shooting pucks in the backyard. I literally posted online, it's only 15 games, but. Because it's only 1 game, but. Right?
It's time to refresh.
We're going to refresh. It's only 15 games, but for the Leafs. We'll do that. We'll do that around 5:30. Where I got a list of things that we are going to answer.
Sure.
It's only 15 games, but.
Yep.
And then a statement will be made, and we answer whether or not that's true or not. All right.
You can do a little bit. You can do a little bit of NFL with Lukey. You can say it's only 9 games, but.
Okay.
C.J. Stroud, the MVP favorite.
That's a great idea.
Josh Allen.
5 windows
5.
closed.
Ooh, yeah.
Kenny Dorsey, was he the whipping boy? Was it unfair that he got pushed out as the OC down in Buffalo? And maybe who wins tonight? Because it's a tough game. Ravens -3.5 on FanDuel. It's my pick.
All right,
they'll win. I'm telling you, if it's my pick, the Ravens will win by 2 touchdowns.
You're a Bengals fan,
Dude.
aren't you? And Joe Burrow's your boy.
Yeah, he's lying.
It's a complete reverse psychology.
What
I know
I'm an
he's
expert
doing.
on is about vibes and momentum.
Okay. Vibes and momentum. Those are your 2 things.
And I know that Baltimore has got the mojo. 3 weeks in a row, I told you guys the right pick, and you went against me and lost.
Yeah,
when are you
right.
going to start to listen?
Man, I wish we had a Survivor pick this weekend, man.
So do I.
It's
like
your
something
pick?
torn away.
Is there any layup this weekend?
Well, probably not this late in the season. I'd have to look at the schedule. Depends on who we have left, right? But Jacksonville, I think we had them. Houston, we definitely had at home against Arizona. That could be a play. That's a lot of them. It doesn't matter. I don't want to do it. I don't want to rehash. I think fading the Giants is probably the smart play. You could probably ride that all the way to the end of the year. I'm not sure they win another game.
No.
Yeah, that's fair.
Now they're playing Washington, and Washington's not great either. But
the Giants are probably saying, we're going to be this bad, we might as well try for the golden goose.
Yes, exactly. Why not? And if you're Danny Dimes, you got to be thinking, guys, can you win, please?
Yeah.
Like, why put this team in a position where they're probably going to take the quarterback if they drop out?
Yeah.
Although maybe they'll do something silly and think Danny Dimes is still our guy and we've paid him and we're going to trade the pick and we're going to accumulate different picks and prospects. I don't know. I'd be careful.
Come on, dude.
I can't imagine that happens, but anything's possible. We've seen it before with other teams. All right, Luke Wilson in studio around 5 o'clock. Darren Dreger still to come later this afternoon. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on the TSN app.
TSN 1050 brings you NFL Thursday Night Football. With both teams losing in wild fashion Sunday, both look for a redemption win in Baltimore. Bengals, Ravens, kickoff at 8:15 on TSN 1050. The NFL lives here. Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, thanks again to Gary Trent Jr. We appreciate that. Raps back in action tomorrow night. Luke Wilson coming up in studio at 5 o'clock. It's only 15 games, but coming up around 5:30. I'm excited for that.
You like that one?
Yeah, I'm excited for it. About the Leafs, and the Leafs are back in action tomorrow. I guess we'll almost be a post game tomorrow. Right, we'll be coming off. The Leafs play at 2 o'clock.
Oh, that's right.
And there's a game right now going on where Ottawa was up 4-0
after the
Don't
first.
tell me Detroit's winning.
It's 4-4.
4-4, but Ottawa's on a power play, I guess.
Yeah, they just Detroit just took a too many men on the ice penalty with.
That one hurts.
But I
5
saw,
minutes left.
I could read lips. Derek Lalonde was calling the ref a hero because it was a bit. It
was quick.
The word hero is a really.
Is it Olympic ice they're playing on?
I don't think so. No, it's got to be NHL ice.
Okay,
has to be.
I know they were practicing, I think, on Olympic
Yeah,
ice.
but you have to. It's got to be NHL
I
ice.
hope so.
And
I
Noodles,
don't
you
know.
talk about a hero. Like, there's a lot of bad calls in the National Hockey League. A lot. Like, obviously, you got to call hits from behind, slashing. But there is some ticky-tack plays where it's like a one-handed tap and the guy's stick falls out of his hand at critical points of the game where I got a lot of respect for the refs and what they do, but it's nonsense and it's got to be fixed. It's just it's unacceptable. Like just rinky-dink plays. This is not the Quebec Pee Wee tournament, man. Guys tripping over sticks and tripping penalties. It's insane. You watch enough, you see enough ridiculous calls where I think it's something of concern.
Well,
and it's like they have no idea about where the game is or the importance. They're just calling penalties.
Well, I'm of the belief, and I don't know how you guys feel, but I would love one challenge flag.
No, you do not want to open that door.
Yes.
No, you don't want to open
Could you
that
imagine
door.
like a challenge flag where you're like, hold on a second, that was a soft call, and and everyone in the stands is yelling, throw it, because part of the theater of the challenge flag in the NFL
is waiting to see.
It's waiting to see,
and the other ref gets to go over there and say that was a clown call, bro. And he says no penalty.
But they don't challenge penalties. They challenge whether the ball was caught, whether their feet were in.
Yeah.
Not if it was a trip or not.
I know, but it's like I just want, like, I think it's entertainment value. If you're sitting on your couch and you're like, that is an awful call, and you see the coach
throw the flag
on the ice, like you're like, you're right. Like,
it is cool. I'll grant you that there's theater in that.
You're right.
But here's the thing: the problem with challenging penalties is it's still
subjective.
It's still very much so. It's just like goaltender interference, where I guess technically they do review that.
Right.
Like you mentioned, too many men on the ice. There probably were 6 guys on the ice.
Yes.
Now, was it quick? Yes. But if they review it and they look at it, they're like, there's 6 guys on the ice.
Yeah.
So, yes, maybe we didn't give you the buffer like a lot of times we do when we're playing in North America.
But you should be afforded, like, you still have to get to the bench. You still have to do these things. So, like, that's
right.
I don't know. I
don't want to see it.
I'm all about the theater. I
know
love
that, but
stuff.
you know how I feel about stops and starts. And all
it
that
will
kind of
slow
stuff.
the game
It'll
down.
Slow the game down, and then you use your challenge earlier, and then there's actually one that would be worthy of being used in the third period, but you haven't used it, which I always find goofy.
Yeah, you're right.
But this is another example. We were talking about this before about a team that was deep in trouble and found a way to storm back. Like there seems to be a lot of come from behind.
Yes, big time.
Big comebacks this year.
Leafs included, down 4-1
twice to Tampa. Opening night they were losing. Obviously, Edmonton last night,
5-3 to Montreal with like a couple.
Yes, it was 2. They pulled the goalie. They scored both with the empty net.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah.
And obviously here, there might be a different circumstance because they're in Sweden. I don't know. But Ottawa's up 4-0. You got to close that game out.
You have to.
You've got to close that, especially when you're Ottawa and you've had the start you've had. Yeah. If you lose even a point here, where this probably ends up going to overtime, it looks like Detroit killed the penalty.
And that might be something to Ottawa's game. Everyone thought that this was the year they were going to break through. But, Jamie, you sit between the benches. The times that I've watched them, they're still making some immature decisions, whether it be Stützle, other people that are on the ice, and maybe their game isn't mature enough to do it on a regular basis.
This is a critical month. Like they're 6-7 right now. They needed this game to get to 500. Plus, I was talking about it yesterday. This is only their 14th game. Like the games that you're making up on other teams, you have to put points in the bank.
Yes.
So it's a must. You have to get points in this game, and you have to, go to Sweden and come back and continue to try and get the momentum. The other thing too is these are home games for the Ottawa Senators. Like these are they're pronounced home games for them. So that's 2 off your schedule that you should be getting last change, a little bit, maybe the benefit of the doubt, the calls, all of that type of stuff. And, you got to find a way. You're right. But the come from behinds, like it has been, it's probably the same as every other year, but it seems like there's more.
Yeah, early in the season, it does feel as if there is no lead that's safe.
Right.
With the short of a few teams that just seem to play like it seems like Boston's got a lead and they hold on to it every single game.
Right.
Vegas to an extent.
Well,
the Rangers are off to a great start.
I was telling you that I thought I read a stat yesterday that Anaheim's had 6 come from behind wins.
The record
in the third period. Yeah. Like, and I'm pretty sure that's what I saw. So that's pretty good for them, but not to mention that just speaks to like the stability of a lead.
Yeah, what's their opponent doing? You're right. I think they've tied an NHL record.
Yeah.
And Bedard goes tonight. He can set a new record as the youngest player in NHL history if he has a multi-goal game night tonight because he's had back-to-back multi-goal games.
Yeah.
He does it again tonight.
I told you.
Bedard, at home against Tampa. Which
40. Do you question the 40 goals now, Hazy?
No, I don't question the 40. I'm not convinced he's going to get to 40, but I can see 40. It's blurry, but I can see it. I didn't see it a month ago, but I can see it. I'm not saying he'll reach it, but I can see it.
Well, I'm happy for him.
Yes, we're all happy. As a show, collectively, we support Connor
Well, you called
Bedard.
it at the start of the season. I remember you.
We all collect. I did say
I
that. I said 40 and 90 and Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
All right, hour 2 coming up. Luke Wilson will be in studio. It's only 15 games, but
you
coming
said
up.
you were going to get. You said he was going to score
OverDrive
20
continues.
goals.
TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.